Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report's live election night coverage. I'm Crawford Humphreys.
And I'm Faith Isbell. The polls are closing for the 2018 midterm elections as we speak across Lexington, Rockbridge County, and the rest of Virginia. But this year, there are elections across the country. What's on the ballot? All 435 House of Representatives seats are up for grabs, and 35 Senate seats are on the ticket across the country, including in Virginia. In 36 states, there is a governor's race this year. CNN's Natasha Chen reports from Washington, D.C. to let us know what's happening this year.
People lined up early on Election Day to have their voices heard.
Whoever you decide on, that's your choice, and that's good because that's what this country's about.
The candidates are also casting their ballots.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We're so with you.
I guess I can cast a vote for myself.
All 435 House seats are on ballots across the country, 35 out of the 100 Senate seats and 36 of the 50 governors. As of Monday morning, at least 31 million people had voted early, blowing early voting numbers from the last midterms out of the water.
So grateful to all these first-time voters who are going to decide this election. Voting amongst those 18 to 29 is up 500%.
Both Democrats and Republicans hope that means good news for them.
The Republican agenda is the American dream, and that's what we're doing. We're bringing back the American dream.
Us winning tonight, I think, will send a message to Mr. Trump and Mr. DeSantis as well, that the politics of hatred and of division, of separation, that they've come to an end.
But whatever drove people to the polls over the last few weeks, there's hope that trend will continue Tuesday.
You have the choice to choose. So get up, get out, vote.
In Washington, I'm Natasha Chen.
In Virginia, the conversation starts at the top of the ticket, where Democrat Tim Kaine is trying to fend off a challenge from Republican Corey Stewart. And joining in the conversation are Annie Lentz, Communications Director for Washington and Lee's Quadrennial Mock Convention, or MockCon, and John Harashinsky, Political Director.
Let's take a closer look at that Senate race. Many analysts say Democrats have a so-called tough roadmap to win the Senate, but even that is based on the assumption that Tim Kaine wins again. So, how does that look, Annie? John?
So across the nations, Democrats and Republicans are fighting tooth and nail for every Senate seat they can. It's going to be a very close race, but Tim Kaine's seat particularly is not a super contentious one. He's projected to win with 99%, by 99%.
And the Democrats certainly do have a tough road ahead of them. Right now, the split is 51 seats for Republicans in the Senate and 49 for Democrats. And for that to flip over, the Democrats need to win all of the incumbent seats they have, plus the two toss-ups, and then flip a Republican seat like Texas or Tennessee, which is certainly going to be very tough heading into the evening.
So are we seeing a theme here?
I mean, the theme for any midterm election really is a referendum on the president's job approval. Traditionally in political science, we see that the midterms likely go the other way than the president's party. So according to a lot of the literature out there, we can expect to see the Democrats to have a good showing in this midterm election, specifically in the House of Representatives.
And particularly for this cycle too, they're calling it the year of the woman because we have a lot of elections or a lot of races that are between two women. And so like in Arizona, they're guaranteed to see their first woman senator.
Democrats hope to win the House, but the 6th district is probably not going to have much of an impact on that, right?
No, so the 6th district is not a super contentious race. Similar to the Senate race in Virginia, it's pretty solidly Republican. Again, with that one, Jennifer Lewis has less than a 1% chance of gaining that seat, but you never know. But for the rest of Virginia, it's sort of setting the tone. A lot of people are looking to Virginia to see where the rest of the country is going to go.
Right, I'm sure there'll be some surprise throughout the night with Virginia's congressional districts. One district, Virginia's 10th in Northern Virginia, is likely to flip from Republican to Democrat. Barbara Comstock is the incumbent Republican, and she's facing off a very tough challenge from Democrat Jennifer Wexton. So going into the night, I really wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those seats flip, especially in Northern Virginia. But definitely for Virginia's 6th district, I really don't see that bigger situation where Ben Klein loses. And if he does, I'm probably going to buy a lottery ticket tomorrow.
And do we expect to see any other seats flip in Virginia?
Yes, there's a few seats that are projected to flip. So at first, the Virginia 7th was not expected to be a super contentious race, but as we've gotten closer and closer to midterms and now we're here, there is a chance that that seat will flip as well.
So let's take a look at the current makeup of the Virginia House delegation in Washington. What do we think?
Yeah, so right now, out of the 11 districts, 7 of them are Republican and 4 of them are Democrat, obviously with the blue and the red. And so we're expecting to see at least a few of the red turn blue, the 6th not being one of them, but the rest could happen.
I could certainly see by the end of the night 6 seats going Democrat and the other 5 staying Republican. I could see the state as a whole shifting over in the representation in the House of Representatives.
And that's a trend that we're seeing nationwide too. It's mirrored in Virginia, but it also is seen the rest of the country.
All right. Well, let's take a look at what the polls looked like in Lexington on this dreary Tuesday. The Rockbridge Report spoke to voters in Lexington outside of the Rockbridge Area Relief Association, the only polling place in Lexington. Voters were greeted by volunteers and even some candidates for city council. The dreary weather did not seem to deter voters.
I think it's very important that as a citizen, if you want to have a voice, you have to vote. And I'm voting particularly because I don't like the direction that the country is going in.
I'm voting strictly on women's issues. We are very lucky to be Americans and to be able to vote, and you need to do this for everybody. No matter how you vote, it's such a privilege to do it.
If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. So, anything that comes out, whatever outcome comes out, is like, oh shoot, I could have made a difference. So you make a difference when you vote.
There's enough information to get off the fence. Just read about all the candidates, and there's enough diversity among the candidates where I think they can find somebody they could vote for. They just need to be aware and be informed.
Jim Ganini, a former city council member and poll official, talked to the Rockbridge Report about what he has seen on Election Day and how it is different from past years.
We have had a higher turnout. We've been running about 200 people an hour, 200 voters an hour. That's a higher turnout than we had even in the presidential election. It is really positive, and it's been great. We've been able to keep our lines down. Maximum waiting is about 10 minutes for voting, and we feel really good about that. And the turnout's high. We're glad to see so many people involved.
It has been a dreary all day for Election Day, but that did not seem to slow voters down. How is the rest of the week looking, Tate?
The rest of the week is looking slightly overcast and a little unpredictable. Let's go check it out. All right, so Lexington's current conditions. We had a high of 54 today and a low of 24. We had 30.04 inches of mercury and a wind speed of 3 miles per hour, humidity at 37%. Our current regional conditions, as you can see, it was a pretty clear night with a little bit of cloud coverage just west of Roanoke. But looking at the entire region, it was mainly in the 50s with a high in Charlottesville and a low in Covington. And now let's look at the rest of the week. So the rest of the week, it looks as if some of our numbers are a little bit off, but we are looking at some sun Wednesday, Thursday. So coming in today, it was mainly in the 50s. So we had a high of, I'd say, again, 54 and a low of around 45. And then going through the week, it's supposed to be a little bit cloud coverage, rain Friday, and the potential of some flurries on Saturday. So that's what we have looking forward to come up upon. Back to you, Faith and Crawford.
Thanks, Tate. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, Gus Cross gives us a live look at Salerno's restaurant, where Republicans are gearing up for their election night celebration.
And later, find out what was on the ballot across the state and locally. All that and more coming up next. Welcome back to this evening's complete election coverage. Gus Cross joins us live from Salerno's restaurant in Lexington, where local Republicans are hosting their election night festivities. How's it looking there, Gus?
Hi, I'm Gus Cross, reporting at Salerno's, where the local Republicans are walking in after a long day of a wet voting day. I'm here with Doug Smith, the chair of the Rockbridge Area Republicans. He's going to talk to us about how the day's been going for them and how they feel about today.
We've been very busy today. We've had a great turnout for our voters and volunteers working, poll watching, greeting people as they approach the polls. We've had a phone bank, and we've done some things we haven't done in many years, and I think we saw an energized voter base today.
Do you think this will be a higher voter turnout than in past midterms?
The numbers we have seen, yes, quite a bit, certainly better than midterms and approaching perhaps general election. So,
among your own party, what is the kind of atmosphere? Are you feeling positive about today?
I'm feeling very positive about today. Ben Klein is known here for a long time, experienced legislator, quite well known around here, and he's also very popular.
Absolutely. And how are you feeling about Corey Stewart?
Corey Stewart's going to run well here in Rockbridge County, and I suspect the rest of the valley. We'll see how it turns out in Northern Virginia and the more urban areas of the state.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For the rest of the night, we'll be coming back with you with more for Rockbridge County. Locally in elections, there are 4 city council seats running, 2 of which are incumbents and 2 independents or not running before. Republicans aren't feeling very strongly about any of them, but they all like their own independent ones. Do you have your own favorites for running for city council?
None of them came to us for endorsement, nor did we endorse any, but we're going to be working on that in the future. Thank you.
That's all for right now. We'll be back with you later. I'm Gus Cross.
Thanks, Gus. Let's take a look at what was on the ballot today, both across the state and locally. Across the state, voters had the choice between 3 candidates for Senate: the incumbent, Democrat Tim Kaine, Republican Corey Stewart, and the Libertarian candidate, Matt Waters.
Voters in the Rockbridge area also cast ballots to choose who will replace Representative Bob Goodlatte in the 6th Congressional District. The seat has been held by Goodlatte, a Republican, since 1993. State Delegate Ben Klein ran as the Republican candidate. He currently represents the 24th District in the Virginia House of Delegates. The 24th District contains Lexington, Buena Vista, and Rockbridge County. Jennifer Lewis ran as the Democratic candidate in the Solid Red District. Stay tuned for election results for both of these races. Across the Commonwealth, all 11 House seats are up for grabs this year. Currently held 7 seats are held by Republicans and 4 are held by Democrats.
In the Lexington City Council race, voters cast ballots in a competitive 4-person race for just 3 city council seats. Dennis Ayers and Molly McClure ran as challengers. David Sigler ran for his 2nd council term, and Chuck Smith ran for his 3rd. The seat up for grabs is currently held by Patrick Ramey, who did not seek re-election. All 4 candidates stood outside Lexington's only polling location under slight rain at the Rockbridge Area Relief Association. They greeted voters on their way to the voting booths. The Commonwealth also has 2 constitutional amendments on the ballot. The first is asking if localities should give tax exemptions to flood-prone properties if improvements have been made to the property. The second constitutional amendment on the ballot would allow a property tax exemption for surviving spouses of veterans and would allow the spouse to move residences and still receive the exemption. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, a peek into the Democratic headquarters here in Lexington, where Democrats are getting ready for their election night celebration. And later, find out more about local elections across Rockbridge County. All that and more coming up next on the Rockbridge Report. Welcome back. Donald LeCompte went to the Democratic headquarters in Lexington, where local Democrats are hosting their election night festivities.
My name is Donald LeCompte. I'm here at South Jefferson Street at the Democratic headquarters, where they are preparing for what might be a long night ahead. You can take a look at the room here. You can see the room is just getting set, starting to fill up with people, food, drinks, and they're hoping it will be a nice blue night here in Lexington, Virginia. I'm actually here with Michelle, chair of the Rockbridge County Democratic Committee. And Michelle, what is it that you're looking for tonight?
We are expecting a huge blue wave. We have worked very hard through this campaign, and we are confident that Jennifer Lewis is the best candidate to be our U.S. representative for the 6th District. Senator Kaine is without saying, he's just an amazing representative for us as well, and we expect to take it all.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So you heard it here. We're checking in on the races with Jennifer Lewis and Tim Kaine, and we will be back at 8:30 to learn a little bit more about the mood here. Back to you.
Thanks, Donald. Let's take a look at some other races on the ballot in the area. In Glasgow, 4 people are running for 3 seats on town council. The 4 candidates are Aaron Wilson Britton, Andy Ryan, Barrett McFadden, and Sonny Williams. Sonny Williams is the only incumbent. In Buena Vista, a special election is being held for City Council. Stanley Kofi is running unopposed in this election. In Goshen, Thomas McCraw is running unopposed for mayor. Also in Goshen, Shirley Rover is the only person running for 3 seats on Town Council. The other 2 members will be decided by a write-in vote.
And in Walkers Creek, Neil Whitmore is running unopposed for school board. Join us back on Channel 18 at 8:30 and 10 o'clock tonight for more local election coverage.
Until then, check us out on our website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu for election coverage and up-to-the-minute results. Thanks for watching, and we will see you at 8:30.